Hey, hi everyone. Today I am going to do something new. This is for SEM 2, and I'll be discussing all the remaining subjects together at a stretch. So, first I will start with operations management, and for operations management, the first question is about the plant layout. You have to define the different types of plant layout which can be implemented. So in the introduction part, you mentioned what is plant layout, what is the definition of it, uh, how can plant layout be implemented in the company, and what are the basic uses of plant layout. Then you mentioned the different in the concept part. You mentioned different types of plant layout. So one is product layout, then there is process layout, then there is fixed position layout, then group technology layout. So these are the four types. If you Google search, you will get more types of plant layout. What you can do is define each plant layout and then mention an example for the same. You have to mention the example also. So either you can give a graph or a plant layout which would show that okay, this is this particular type of layout. And then in the conclusion, you mention what are the benefits of plant layout and how will the company get different benefits out of this plant layout. So basically, it reduces the wastage, raw material, the process is streamlined, the flaws are being rectified. So this is all what you can mention in the conclusion part, and you can close the first answer. Moving to second question is about inventory management techniques. So this has been asked in past also. You can refer my past videos of operations management. You will get the details. Yet I will explain the same. In the introduction part, you mentioned what is inventory management and how does it benefit. Then in the concept part, different types of inventory management techniques. So it is ABC analysis, ABC inventory management. Then there is bulk shipment, just in time, first in first out, inventory cycle, par levels, back ordering, drop shipping, cross docking. Then like first in first out, there is last in first out. So these are the different types of techniques which can be mentioned. Then you have to select any two of the techniques which can be given in this particular example or the case study which is being asked. It is as per you. For me, I would definitely put in first in first out or the par levels, or I would say first sorry back ordering. So depends now what you feel is right. You can definitely put it into that. And then you mention some benefits of the whatever techniques that you are mentioning. Give two or three benefits of using this particular technique. Now moving to third question. The third question is about the location decision that you have to take. Basically, you will have to define what are the factors that affect the location decision. So in the introduction part, mention what is location decision, define it, and how is it used by the company. Factors affecting the location decision would be marketplace demographics, availability of raw materials, distribution network, economic policies, availability of manpower, growth, future prospects. So these are the factors which are to be considered. You can mention few points on this. So I have mentioned 7 points, and for each 7 points, I have mentioned say 50, 60 words for each. So that is how I completed 500 words, and then you can select a particular place. Now in India, you can select any place. It is not a compulsion that okay you have to select this, but yeah, keep in mind that somewhere you have to consider the environment system, the environment issues also. And for me, I have written Baroda as the place in Gujarat. Why? Because already there are plants, the manufacturing plants being located. Then moving to the third question, here you have to explain the different types of aggregate planning. So in the introduction part, you mentioned what is aggregate planning and how does it help the company. And basically, it is done so that the production is being production doesn't get hampered, and you can forecast for 6 to 18 months. So you have to explain the chase strategy and the level strategy. If you Google search, you will get the same. Search for chase strategy, aggregate planning, and level strategy, aggregate planning. And then in the conclusion part, 1 or 2 points of the benefits of aggregate planning. How does it help in forecasting? And that is how you that is how you close the entire operations management assignment. Now I'll be discussing on strategic management. In strategic management, the first question is about Porter's generic strategy. So first, define the history of Porter's generic strategy. Define what is Porter's generic strategy. Then there are 4 types of strategies. What you have to mention, that is cost leadership. Then there is differentiation. Then there is cost focus, and then there is differentiation focus. And then you have to explain each points. Post that, in the conclusion part, you will have to select any strategy and you will have to mention that okay, this is the best strategy as per you. For me, I have mentioned cost leadership as the strategy, and cost focus as the strategy. Why? Because both the strategies are concentrating on cost. One, they try to become the cost leader by reducing the price, and then cost focus is further reducing the price and giving the optimum utilization of the resources. So I have mentioned these 2 strategies and mention some benefits of these strategies, and you can close the first question. Moving to second question is about pestle analysis. In the introduction part, you mentioned what is pestle analysis, some history of it, how it is used by companies to identify whether they can really get into introduce their product into the market or not. And then you explain all the factors, that is political, economical, social, technological, legal, and environmental factors. And then in each factor, considering the environment of Indian environment, as per you can say whether it is feasible for the company to launch their product in India or not. Now, if I see from my point of view, I would say with the current situation that is going on because of the pandemic, or considering all the points, I would say it is not recommended for the company to enter the Indian markets. It will basically, there are a lot of retail sectors. There are a lot of players who already have their hold in the market, and then people have got used to it. So if you see various brands like say Future Retail, that is Big Bazaar is there. There's D-Mart. So they already have their market share in India. And then if a new company comes in, it will be very tough. Why? Because people are used to go to DMart and people are used to go to Big Bazaar to make their purchases. And then going to a new brand, again they have to build a trust. They have to really go and explore whether the company is ethical, whether it is good, it is not good. So according to that, I have mentioned that okay, this is not a place where the company should enter the Indian markets. So this is how you complete the second question. Moving to third question. The third question is about stakeholder analysis. You have to you have to explain what is stakeholder analysis. Now, in the stakeholder analysis, you have to draw grid and you have to explain the different types of stakeholders. Now, these stakeholders might have high power and high interest, or high power, low interest, low power, low interest, and low power and high interest. So you have to explain these points in the concept part, and then in the conclusion part, you have to mention that for the place where they have to do the stakeholder analysis, that is in Maharashtra, you have to explain how will it be beneficial to different types of stakeholders. So I have mentioned few stakeholders like villagers or the government, the political leaders, the board of directors, the promoters. So these are the internal and external stakeholders for which you will have to do the stakeholder analysis, and you have to mention the details accordingly. So this is how you complete the third A. Moving to third B. Third B is about the various new initiatives that can be taken for the stakeholder to convince the stakeholder. Now, this is entirely a view choice, whatever you want, you can mention. Uh, what I have done is in the concept part, I have mentioned few points, that is bringing the attention of all the stakeholders, explaining the need of the project, providing satisfaction to all the stakeholders, visualize the future of that particular area, and how it would convince them, how we would convince them. And then last is convincing all the stakeholders, and then explaining them why this project is important, and the different style of communications that can be used for convincing the stakeholders. So this is how you complete the strategic management assignment. It's quite easy. You might find it difficult to search for options, but yeah, you will get, if you Google search, you will get the options. For pestle analysis, you can directly search pestle analysis of retail sector in India in Google, and you will get the details on that. Now I will discuss on business law. So for business law, the first question is explaining the Clayton rule of appropriation. If you Google search, you will get the details. In the introduction part, mention what is Clayton rule of appropriation. So basically, this is a case that was fought in England, and the parties had disputes where it was said that the debtors had a contract, and can request for an appropriation amount from the creditor if the creditor agrees on that particular things which have been highlighted by the debtors. So you have to explain the entire case in your own words. Also, in the concept part, you have to mention how the Indian Contract Act sees the Clayton rule of appropriation. So I have mentioned 5 points over here. One is appropriation in order of receipts and payments. Second is when debtors does not intimate and creditor fails to appropriate. When debtor does not intimate and circumstances are not inductive, and then part payment is applied for the interest first and for the principal of amount afterwards. So these are the points what you have to explain. If you Google search, you will get the details. It is very easy. Don't get I would recommend two website. One is indianqanun.org. Over there you can get details of this, and the other website, I am not having the link right now, but definitely you can Google search. Moving to second question, you have to provide two live examples of exemptions of right to information, where information was not provided to the person who was asking for the right to information. So in the introduction part, you mentioned what is right to information, when was it introduced by the Indian Parliament, how does it work. So basically, if a request is placed by any person to the officer, the RTI officer has to give the details within 30 days, and if it is a critical information that is requested, then within 48 hours the same needs to be provided. So these are the details what you mention in introduction part. Also, you can mention the exemptions which are being considered under this particular act, and then there are cases. So you, as usual, I have mentioned in my past videos also, to go to indianqanun.org, and over there you search exemptions for the RTI Act. There will be n number of cases you might find, but keep in mind that you have to look out for only exemptions, because this is quite confusing. It was tough for me also to find out cases. So if you want, first Google search exemptions provided under RTI cases, and then you can look out for options. You will definitely get it. And then in the conclusion part, you mention how these exemptions are utilized by court by various firms or by court for restricting data to be shared. And this is how you complete the second question. Moving to third question, this is a case study, and over here these two companies are merging for their business, to grow their business. So you have to first, whether you have to define whether the contract is a legal contract or not. So in the introduction part, you define what is contract, how does it become legal, Then you have to define the primary conditions in which any agreement becomes a legal contract. So you mention these points, and then you have to also mention the requirements that make an agreement legal. So the requirements would be offer and acceptance, then consent obtained in a legal way, legal relationship, specific certainty of the contract, and specification certainty of the contract, and then lawful consideration. So these are some points which I have mentioned. And then in the conclusion part, you mention whether this agreement which has happened between both the companies is legal or not. According to me, it is legal. Why? Because they are not doing any illegal activities. Also, they are doing it for their own benefit. Both the companies have found that okay, there will be benefit in and expanding their area of reach. And this have you mentioned that okay, the contract is a legal contract. Now moving to third B, in this question you have to mention the jurisdiction under which such cases are being fought. So basically, jurisdiction has the entire power to take a decision whether any activity that is performed is legal or illegal, and they have the right to punish or ask the person to pay a fine. So that is basically jurisdiction. And in the concept part, what I have done is I have mentioned that there is no such jurisdiction under which a legal contract which is there, and there is a discrepancy which can be fought. So what we can mention over here is that both the business have came into agreement by their own will. They knew what they are getting into. They always knew that what would be the benefits out of this. And the second part is about the certification. So they can definitely go to the district magistrate or to any government authorities in the area of Nagpur and get this certification provided, I mean registered, that any shop or any outlet who wants to deal with particular this adventure sports equipment should have this certification. And then close the question by giving the conclusion part that the activities which have been done are legal activities and which do not fall under any jurisdiction. However, they can definitely, for the contract part, for the certification part, they can approach the district magistrate or any local government authorities. So this is how we complete the law assignment. Moving to the last assignment, that is business communication. So in business communication, the first question is about biasness. You have to define what is biasness. You can refer to my old business communication video of December 2020, if I'm not wrong. In that also I have explained what is the entire question about. Again, they are repeating the same thing. So basically, you have to in the introduction you define what is biasness, how does it come. Basically, you attack a particular gender, race, caste, creed, color, age, anything. When you speak against them, it becomes bias. So there are different types of biases which you have to explain: gender bias, racial bias, age bias, disability bias. And then you have to give examples and how you can avoid uh, being biased in communicating. So there are various points you can mention. You can Google search options like how to avoid biases, the different ways of avoiding biases, and you will get the information on this. And in the conclusion part, you mention how avoiding biases can help in providing a clear and crisp message without targeting or without spreading any negative impact on the audience. Moving to second question, the second question is about two types of approaches: direct approach and indirect approach. So over here, what you have to do is first to define what is communication, and then you define what is direct and indirect. Direct approach and indirect approach. Then entire direct approach, you will have to explain how does it work, what do we refer to. So if you Google search direct approach and indirect approach, you will get the details on this. So in a company, there is a positive and a negative approach which is used in a direct approach, and then you explain the indirect approach. I can't explain everything. This you will have to write in your own words. You will have to do a lot of research on this, and then convert the entire thing into your words and write it down. Do not copy paste, because very less data is available on net. And then in the conclusion, how the Sharman is supposed to deliver his bad news. So I have selected the indirect approach of writing the communication. So basically, indirect approach is first to use a buffer. That is, you use buffer to give a soft landing to the customer. If you Google search this, you will get it. And what I'm saying, it might be possible you won't understand. So first you give a buffer, then you give the bad news, and then you give the impact of it. So that is the indirect approach. Now this is how you complete the second question. Moving to third question, you have to define the communication model, the entire 8 steps of communication model. This is very easy. If you Google search, you will get it. I'll just inform the 8 steps. That is message, encode, choice of medium, then there is transmission, reception, respond, and feedback. So these are the 8 steps. In the introduction, you mention what is communication model, how is it used, and then in the conclusion, benefits of the communication model. I'll not waste much of time on this. Then moving to the second part is you have to explain the basic social media platforms and the social media communication model. So this is basically how a company interacts with the help of social media to its customers. And you have to explain 2 types of social media. You can select anything: YouTube, Facebook, say Twitter, or say Instagram, say Snapchat, anything. You can select anything. I have preferred YouTube and Facebook. You have to explain what are the benefits of these 2 particular platforms and how company can utilize them to communicate with their customers. And then in the conclusion part, how social media is helping companies to connect to the customers, to resolve their problems, to share what they are offering to the customers. So this is how we complete business communication, and this is the end of video. All 4 the assignments are explained over here. This is a lengthy video. Thank you and best of luck.